Welcome to the Diablo III Open Q&A panel. Here to answer your questions are Jay Wilson, Kevin Martins, Christian Leitner, Jason Regier, and Robert Breidenbecker.
Hello, everyone. How's Blizzcon going? Awesome. All right, so this is just an hour of asking us any questions that you want to. My name's Jay, and I work on Diablo. This is Kevin Martins. He's our lead content designer and more the lore and story guy, so I don't have to answer those. Jason Regier is our lead programmer. Robert Breidenbecker. Rob, what's your title? He's the VP of Online Tech. And Christian Leitner, who's our art director. So I think we can cover almost anything. So whenever you guys are ready.
All right, you guys are ready?
We're ready, Chad.
Let's do it. Good to
Chad,
see you guys.
One request, Chad. We've been doing a lot of press. No more of the why are you guys so sexy questions. We're tired of answering them.
I'll try to hold off for now.
Okay, thanks, Chad.
Maybe later, though. All right, come on up.
So yesterday during the panel, you guys were talking about difficulty level, how a normal mode is going to be really, really easy. But what about veteran players? Are we really going to have to beat the game once before we get any kind of challenge? Are you guys going to add a way to make the game harder before progressing?
No, we're not planning on any kind of shortcut through normal difficulty. Just like Diablo 2, normal difficulty will be fairly quick path. We're not too worried about people getting bored. It does get more challenging kind of later in even the first act and progressively throughout. So I wouldn't say that the entire of normal difficulty is not nearly as easy as the first hour or so. The first hour is really a tutorial. So what we really feel internally, what we've noticed with a lot of people playing, especially more serious players, is once they get through that first part really quick, and then they get into the rest of the normal difficulty, and they don't have any problems with getting bored or things like that, because it is challenging enough.
I should also say that, the normal difficulty level, if you're a veteran, awesome Diablo player, this is your chance to enjoy the story, get familiar with the skills so that you can really kick ass with them in the next difficulty level.
Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
How you doing? To me, there's three type of players in Blizzard games. There's hardcore, and then there's casual gamers, and then there's farmers. And with farmer being such a big industry, thanks to WoW, how do you guys plan on combating this? Because I know the farming industry is already looking at Diablo and going, how can we make some more money?
Well, we don't really see that it's as big an issue for Diablo as it is for WoW. The most important thing to remember about Diablo is it's not a persistent world. So the reason that farming feels so bad in World of Warcraft is because the farmers are in your world, they're taking your quest mobs, they're taking your drops, they're interfering with your experience. But in Diablo, they can go off into their own server, into their own world, in their own instance, and farm to their heart's content, and it doesn't affect you at all. So that's really the big issue in terms of, the downside of farmers is really their impact on the world more than anything else. So we don't feel it's going to be a big problem in Diablo.
Thank you. Come on up.
With the release of Diablo 3, I was wondering what the chat gem's going to do.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Please? What's the chat gem do?
What is the chat? Kevin, you want to take that?
I still didn't understand the question. What?
What's the chat gem do?
It fulfills all your dreams. It fulfills all your dreams. That's what.
Oh, that's, yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right.
All right. You guys made the followers more viable for endgame content, because the feedback wanted it. Is there any benefit, or is it even possible to get to the end of the game in Inferno without a follower?
Yeah, it should be totally possible to The way we're trying to tune them is to make them viable, not required. So they do give some nice bonuses that any kind of, if you're super min-maxer, you're really going to want them there. But if you just care about, if you really don't like followers, and there are definitely people out there, is one of the reasons we originally considered not making them viable, then you should be able to play without them. Also, you know, this won't be for ship, but we still kind of want to figure out a way that you can get a benefit of a follower without having a follower, but we're not sure, we never figured out exactly how we want to do that. But that's something we're going to explore in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Straight up question: is Diablo a girl?
The question is Diablo a girl? Diablo's not constrained by our human gender stereotypes.
She's a demon.
So no, the fact is, Diablo can take multiple forms, and we have never seen the true form of Diablo yet. So Diablo has many surprises in store for us.
That was good. All right.
That's kind of a shifty answer. Just answer the dude's question, Kevin.
All my answers are shifty.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Hey guys, I was hoping you could elaborate on hardcore mode. For example, when it's unlocked, are there going to be real money transactions, and are there any differences between Diablo 2 hardcore mode and Diablo 3? Anything we should expect?
Yeah, so hardcore mode, where to start? So for those of you who don't know, once if you make a hardcore character and that character ever dies, the character's gone forever. So the big things about hardcore is completely separated from the regular games, so they do have their own auction house, but it's a gold only auction house. They don't have a real money auction house, and they can't trade in any way with regular characters. So they're isolated within, they can trade with other hardcore characters, but not with normal characters. They also can't trade items between, you can't trade items between your hardcore characters and your regular characters. And then the other big difference is when you die, your body doesn't drop. So your items are gone when you die in D3. So it's not like you can have somebody with you who can collect your body and pull your stuff up. So it's a little bit harsher on that front. And then PvP is something we're still kind of internally debating. And I think the PvP strike team is really concerned that if we have you die permanently in an arena, then hardcore players will never play arena. And I think that's probably a good point. I still feel like there needs to be some kind of way to do hardcore dueling. So we're thinking about how we could allow that.
No fall. That's it. I'm sorry. Get back in line, though.
Wow, Chad. Cracking the whip.
It's not my fault.
Hey guys, I got a couple questions about Inferno mode. First one, do you expect fresh 60s to be able to succeed in Inferno? And two, do you ever plan on nerfing Inferno to make it more accessible to the casual players?
So I didn't get the first part of the question.
Do you guys expect fresh 60 characters to be able to succeed in Inferno?
Okay. No. We expect you will have to farm hell. So, and will we nerf it for all the noobs out there? Probably not. Hey, calm down. We said it was going to be hard. We had a video and everything. Jeez. Probably not. I wouldn't promise that we'd never nerf it, because certainly we've seen, like, in the development of World of Warcraft, we've seen like super hard bosses show up, and even the most hardcore of the hardcore go, okay, he's a little too hard. So I don't want to say that we never nerf something, because it could be too hard even for the super hardcore. But we won't nerf it to make it casual.
Thank you.
All right. This might be a stupid question, but I was in Diablo 1 and 2. There was a considerable amount of fog of war. I was wondering in Diablo 3 if why that wasn't there.
Oh, I guess there's not as much. There is fog of war in Diablo 3. Yeah.
We did take Fog of War out of your hub town, so like New Tristram has no Fog of War, so you can easily find all the stores and stuff. But unless we're misunderstanding you, there is Fog of War everywhere else.
I mean, we changed the reveal distances. They may not be consistent with Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Or do you mean the light radius?
Yeah.
Around the light radius. Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, a lot of that that was a long, kind of hard process, and there are some dungeons in the game that really do emphasize the light rate, because it is there. It was more a thing of that going to a 3D engine and trying to get the world to look really good and, you know, be moody and feel the way we want, when you only have one light. Like, it's easier with a 2D engine where kind of everything, every sprite is kind of hand-drawn with its light already in it. But with a 3D engine, if you have one light around the character, it actually makes for a really kind of bland and bad-looking world. You need to fill the world with a little bit more light to make it interesting. And so it made it really difficult for us to do the light radius exactly the way we did D2. But we did try to do it in some of the dungeons.
Yeah, it is still in there. There are various areas in the game that are brighter than others, and some are darker than others. And maybe what you're seeing in the content that's out on the show floor is a little bit brighter than some of our darkest areas. So,
Great question.
Hi. With respect to randomization in dungeons, there are some areas in Diablo 2 that can be frustratingly convoluted. And I was wondering, like, why would you make a jail like that, or the catacombs? Are you guys toning that down a little in Diablo 3?
So, Kevin, I think the question is, are we going to not do crappy design? To you.
I'd love to know exactly what you're referring to. So most dungeons are very random. A change from Diablo 2 to Diablo 3 is there's quite a bit more story moments in the dungeons themselves. So in a completely random dungeon, as in one that rolls randomly out in the world, very often you've got a unique entry point. Say the Idol of Ragnar, there's a guy named Poltar who's a treasure hunter, and he gets into these old ruins and he can't get through in his own, so it's an escort mission, and it concludes at the end. So there's random dungeon in between, but he's got a set starting point and a set final room, and the quest concludes. In other cases, like you'll see in the beta, we have some levels that have very little randomness, like the Templar level. So you acquire the Templar in that level. He's got his little story moments, his open room. But even in there's some randomness in between the first room and the end room. He's got a much bigger set spot because he's got to get his armor and have his rescue scene, and then have his final confrontation with Jondar and ultimately kill him. Spoiler! So I'm not sure if I answered your question. There's still a ton of randomness, especially in the dungeons.
All right, thank you.